Okay, Ashwin, unmute your video camera.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so person, am I audible? Please post yes in the chat box. Okay, so good evening, warm welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Kumaran and I am the head of Computer Science and Engineering Department at Engineering College. We are highly privileged to host the Skill Fest webinar series, season 5. Today is the third program in this week. On behalf of JIA Group of Institutions, we welcome you all to the webinar on social skills for work and life. Today we are pleased to welcome our speaker, Mr. Ashwin Chandrasekaran from HCL Technologies. We extend a warm welcome to you, Ashwin.
Thank you, sir.
Social skills are the skills we use to communicate and interact with each other. So both verbally and non-verbally through gestures, body language, and our personal appearance. Human beings are sociable creature, and we have developed many ways to communicate our messages, thoughts, and feelings with others. Social skills are important because they are the foundation for having positive relationships with others, with your partners, friends, and for your career. Social skills allow you to connect with other people on a level that is important in life, so you can have more in-depth relationship with others. So we are going to hear a lot about social skills from Ashwin. Ashwin is a passionate trainer. He has trained a number of professionals and students. Before getting into the session, so it's a regular note to the participants, those who have joined today. At the end of the session, I request every participant should submit the feedback form through which the certificate is generated. We will provide the feedback form at the end, so you can find the feedback form link on top of the chat box as a sticky note. So you will receive the e-certificate within maximum of 2 days. So in feedback form, type your name in capital letter and provide valid email ID. The technology used here is purely rely on the strength of the local bandwidth. So if you have any audio and video issues, kindly click the reconnect button. So it's placed on top of the screen. It's red color labeled as reconnect. So don't leave the room or do not close the window. So otherwise, the connectivity to the webinar room will expire. In that case, you have to re-register again and click the webinar link to connect with us. If there is any technical glitch in our side, we will back in maximum of 30 seconds. So do not leave the room or close the window. If you have any questions during the session, please type them into the chat box and select QA mode so that it's easy for us to identify the question. We will address all your questions at the end. So the recorded version of the webinar will be available in YouTube after 4 hours. You can watch the replay of video of all our webinars through YouTube. So with this note, it's my honor and privilege to introduce Mr. Ashwin Chandrasekaran. Ashwin Chandrasekaran, working as a technical specialist in HCL Technologies, Chennai, graduated from Anna University in the year 2006. He has 14 plus years of experience in IT, worked in telecom, banking, financial services, insurances, and networking domains. And has worked for several telecom majors like Nokia Siemens Network, Verizon, Alcatel, and presently for Cisco in the WAN optimization technologies. As a passionate communicator and trainer, he is active member of Toastmasters International for the past 5 years and has won several speech contests at the division level and is currently serving as an area director. His present pastime is to play with his little daughter and ensure to tell at least one new story every day. So with this brief introduction, without wasting our time, we will move on to the session. I'm very glad to welcome Mr. Ashwin to present. Over to Yash.
Thank you, Kumran sir. I hope I'm audible to everyone. A very warm good evening to all of you present here. Thanks for joining. And I hope the next 1 hour, I'll ensure to make it as interesting and useful for all of you. As Kumran sir pointed out, I'm an alumni of Jaya Engineering College. And it reminds me of one incident with which I would like to start today's presentation. 15 years ago, I was in the final year or pre-final year when Kumran sir asked me to present a paper presentation in a particular college in MIT Chennai. So I was all ready. I rehearsed everything because it was my own project, and I still remember that all the presentation, PPT, everything was pakka ready. And I'm sure many students are also here. You can relate it. And I went, and my name was called. It was a big auditorium actually, and I was so confident. So I went there, and the PPT was loaded, and then I turned towards the audience. Guess what? Around 700, 800 people were sitting in the auditorium. What happened there, I never told Kumaran sir after that. It is still a suspense. I'm planning to reveal it today. So just keep the story there. We'll come back after today's presentation. I will tell you what actually happened. And with that, let us start today's webinar, which is about social skills. So social skills, and you might be wondering, what is social skills? We usually have a lot of technical webinars about networking, computer science, IT, and what exactly are we going to see in social skills must be everyone's question here. And let us set the expectation for this webinar, right? So what I am going to cover today is what is this social skills? Is it something technical concept that we need to understand? What is this and why it is important? Why should I know about this? Why should I spend 1 hour in this webinar to know? And probably later, why should I develop these skills? Why it is important? And then finally, how can we become better at all this social skills, right? So this is what is the expectation, but the real expectation is not even all those things. If you just get the awareness that social skills are very important for every one of you, there might be teachers, lecturers, professors here, there may be students here, there may be working professionals, or just anybody for that matter. Why social skills are important? If I can do a part in making you create that awareness, I think that would solve the purpose of this webinar. So just relax yourself. I'm not going to bore you. So it is going to be, I promise it will be a little bit of interesting, fun-based webinar. So can we begin? Keep up the chats coming. I will also take a look at the chat. All right. So with the context set, let us get into the first slide. All right. Yes, I said interesting. So it means it should start with movies. Take a guess. What is that you see on the left and what is that you see on the right? While I speak, you can keep putting in the chat box. What is that you see in the picture? Definitely they are movies, right? So what is that one thing that comes to your mind when you see these two pictures? Just keep putting in the chat box. We'll come back to that. And yes, I'm already seeing some. Yes, Panchatantram, friendship, right? Okay, so somebody said Panchatantram. Why is that you remember Panchatantram as soon as you see that screenshot? Nowhere it is mentioned Panchatantram, right? It means something. It is in your head. It is strongly into your head, right? the creator of that movie, all those actors, the script writers, everyone behind that movie were so sharp enough and so creative enough to create that impact, so that as soon as you saw that just a screenshot of 5 people, you clearly told it is Panchatantram. For those who uh, are not aware of the Tamil movie industry, excuse me, it's a very popular movie. And the one on the right, again I see some answer like Friendship. So it's also a very famous movie, and just the scene, just that screenshot uh, will tell you, it will give you memories of the movie. So what all these things convey? Simple. We all are social beings. Okay, we humans are called social animals. We need communication, some form of communication, to make our message reach the audience. If you are a teacher, your students should remember whatever you are teaching for life. If you are a working professional, whatever you are conveying should be understood clearly. So we are surrounded by humans, and social skills is nothing but all that we keep conveying to people around us. So we have to make it as strong as possible, just like these two examples. So let us proceed further and see what everything. And before that, I have a poll now. A poll question will pop up in the screen. So just attend that. It is just to know what is your background. Are you a student? Are you a teacher, lecturer, professor, working professional, or other? This is to get to know the kind of audience we have today. Okay, the poll results are coming, so I could see the students are more, working professionals are there, is followed by teachers. So top is the students, followed by professors and teachers, and followed by working professionals. All right, so I think we can continue further. As I said, social skills is nothing but Kumaran sir said verbal, non-verbal. Yeah, they are all the types. But just remember this fundamental line. Whatever you do, you talk to somebody or you give a presentation, whatever it is, the way you behave itself, right? You have to create a lasting impact in whatever you do. And by meaning lasting impact, they should you should influence others. Each message should reach them here and here. That is what is called lasting impact. So how can you do that? How can you be more effective in achieving all those things? That brings us to the question of what are social skills. Social skills are verbal, non-verbal, as well as behavioral. There, you can classify it in however way you want. But as human beings, the only thing that is different from animals is we can speak, we can write, or we can do some other ways of communication that other living things cannot do, right? So we should utilize it. And the third is behavior. How well behaved and mannered I am sends a message out. You need not talk, you need not write anything, or you need not do anything explicit. The way you carry forward, the way you dress up itself gives a message to others. uh, who are you, right? So your behavior matters. Non-verbals, writing, and we will see more details on what is non-verbal. Everything except what you use with your mouth is non-verbal. And then verbal, of course. So what are verbal skills, right? You talking to your friend, talking to a classroom, uh, talking in a meeting, in a work context where you are explaining about your project, or it is just about you are explaining about your appraisal to your manager, what you did in the last 1 year. It can be anything. It can be a debate, it can be a group discussion. So all these things are verbal. So every category of these social skill also has a means of how you can improve it better, or how the world is changing today, that you need to adapt to the changing needs. So we'll see each one in detail. Predominantly, I'll be covering most of the verbal things today. Each one is an ocean. I will also leave you with a lot of references that you can also take offline. As I said, verbal, one-to-one talk, group discussions, presentations, what I am doing today, speeches. You would have seen great leaders speak, but not only politicians have to speak, not only professors have to speak, or your principal has to give a lecture or a keynote address. No, each of you can speak. A lot of occasions are there where you need to prepare a speech and present it. If you're a working professional, you might be knowing, as you grow up in the ladder, you might have to give inspirational speeches to your subordinates. Negotiation, and this comes not only in work context, it comes everywhere, right? We are all bound by this economy. We need to negotiate ourselves, be it for your salary, be it for the rating that you get, be it for the marks that you get from your professor. Sir, I have done this much, this is how my project is, but why have you given me this mark? So there's a way you have to negotiate and put your rights across. So negotiation. Persuasion, very important. Married people can relate it well. For everything and anything, we have to convince somebody, our partner, day in and day out, right? We have to convince, they will convince us. So we learn a lot about persuasion in life generally. So we need to be good at persuasion skills. Then debating and brainstorming, that happens almost everywhere, in colleges, in working professionals do that to come up with solutions. And debates also happen nowadays mostly in television. Okay, but let's not go into that debate. And then finally, arguments. Arguments are in a negative context. Arguments are not good, but then definitely you will encounter into arguments. Nowadays, any Facebook post, whoever posts, the comment section, if you see, it's all arguments. You put a political message, and then there will be 10 comments for and 10 comments against, and there will be big arguments. We all have done that. But what is the end result of an argument? Nothing. Argument is just for the sake we argue, right? Nothing happens there as an outcome. So these are all verbal. Non-verbal, dressing. When I was working for Wipro Technologies, we had a dress code where we need to wear formals, and then they relaxed that rule. Once they relaxed that rule, we all started coming in whatever attire we could come. Not against formals, but what happened was, one day there was a group of customers, probably who are come from some other country. So we were all going with chappals and in the usual non-professional attire, because there was no rule as such to wear. Somehow, whatever way we could try to impress the customers, they were looking at like this. They were only like pleased if somebody had worn a little bit pleasant attire, not something that looks dull, right? So the way you dress matters. Eye contact, it is a very important skill. I think those who are giving speeches will know this. You have to, and especially professors will know this very well. Maintaining eye contact is very important. It tells you that you are truthful, you have credibility. Whatever you are saying is from the heart, and you really mean it. If you see it down somewhere, it means you're breaking that connection with the audience. So that is very important. Gestures, your body language as such. Then written communication. There are a lot of email etiquettes. You can Google and see how to write an email in various type of contexts is there. And the whole thing about behavioral is also there. These are all social skills. It's an ocean. So, but what we will now focus is how can we develop it. And before going into the how part, we need to know why it is important. I've given many instances earlier also. If you are a student, and a lot of people here in the poll say they are a student. So students, presentations, discussions, viva, interaction with fellow students, and as well as your professors or your lecturers and your exams. In all these things, we will all do this. We all do this, but just by incorporating a little bit different approach to your presentation, a different approach, the way you discuss, where you attend a viva, where you answer, you just show a small difference. It creates a lasting impact. So that is why knowing this, being aware that social skills have to be developed is very important. We all can present, we all can discuss, but the way, just take some time out of in a week, just spend 1 hour, try to do your own research and see how I can present it differently. What are all the trends that are there in today, how presentations are moving. Earlier presentations means PowerPoint, that's all. If you having a PowerPoint presentation like this, then it is done. No, now the audience are demanding something much more. We will see all those things today, but what you need to know is every bit of interaction that you do, there is a scope for developing that. So that is what, as a student, it is important. And teachers, again, very important. So social skills are very important. I think all of you must be realizing it, because we teachers are the ones who are actually imparting the knowledge to the students. I still remember my 8th standard teacher, who used to teach science, and especially botany. And when she teaches his biology classes, every day 10 minutes she used to set aside to tell us some story. And whether we remember the concept or not, we will definitely remember the story. And just because we remember the story, we will also remember the concept. So if at all the teachers, out of all the teachers, I still remember her class as well. It's 8th standard is much old, but still I remember now. The reason is she did something differently. Creativity in whatever we do, presentation skills. And then so nowadays this webinars or seminars, and so all this storytelling, we will be covering all this. So for teachers, it's also very required. And then working professionals, if you are here, I learned it I'm a working professional, so I learned it in a very tough way. I used to make a lot of mistakes, and as I have put here, there's a lot of communication trends that are changing today. um, what happened once in my own career is, in my last company, we had to deprecate, or we have to disable a particular software, because that software we are not supporting anymore. But in the documentation, we had mentioned one line saying this software is no more supported, this feature, small feature of the software is no more supported. But then we left all the other, how to enable that software, how to configure that, and all the associated documentation around that still existed. Since because we had already added a line, we assumed it's okay, nobody is going to question us. But then it got into a legal situation, where customers said, how can you remove support without properly documenting it? It's kind of, you're putting an ambiguous situation, you're confusing us. Are you selling a product without this feature and without putting it in the doc? Because all the configuration, everything is present here. How are you trying to sell this software without that feature? Where is it clearly documented? So all such confusions resulted in a lot of money, and we had to support the product, support the feature, just because our documentation, just because our communication was not good. So the next slide will also talk about how costly communication mistakes are there in workplace. And then now with COVID-19, most of us are working from home. Even otherwise, virtual offices are everywhere. We are always on call, talking to somebody in the US, somebody in some other geography. How we are communicating, are they able to understand whatever we want to say clearly? So these are all becoming very important now, which was not the case earlier. Slowly, whole world is becoming into a virtual office. Everyone is connected through internet. Whatever we communicate via all these web conferences become very important. And there is also a new concept that is emerging called portfolio careers. uh, Portfolio careers are, if you possess some kind of a transferable skill. um, you are suppose you are a computer engineer, you know coding. It was okay to live your entire career by just that knowledge. You would have been a computer engineer, you would have finished 20 years of your career, probably moved into management, and then your career is done. Or if you're a banking professional, that's all that you need to know. But nowadays, more and more uh, portfolio careers where you need to develop alternate skills which you can apply, it is called transferable skills. For example, if I know communication, or I know some aspect of networking technology, I can become a trainer. I'm also a computer professional, and I can also train people if I'm good in that ability. So I am keeping many options open to explore, right? So this is called a portfolio. I create a portfolio. I can also do open source coding for you. I am skilled in this particular coding. Probably I can develop softwares for you as a separate thing. I am not employed anywhere. I can do it as a freelancer. So learn communication there plays a major role here, because if you are good in communication, if you are able to train people, that itself becomes a career option for you. You can transfer it in whichever job role you are. Having the skill, having a good skill like this, where you can convince people, where you can train people, then with this skill, it gives you enormous job opportunities also. And more than anything, social skills are required for life, right? We need friends nowadays. Families are nuclear, very independent. We need society for our support. Any help, in an emergency in an apartment, if you don't know your neighbor, if you don't have social skills, if you haven't socialized with them, if you hadn't had friendly relation with them, then on an emergency you can't expect them to help you. When I grew up in an apartment in Ambattur, all of us were like one family. Unfortunately, today we don't know who's there in the next door. So we are a dependent society. Social skills are very much important in the context of life in general. This slide is a recap of what I just covered. So the first point, humans are still relevant in jobs today. Most of it are taken by automation and AI. But what is still not taken away is jobs requiring good human to human relationships, which are called interpersonal skills, good communication skills. If you have this, nobody can take the job away. A robot or AI bot simply cannot replace it yet. Yes, technology is evolving, but today many sectors, humans are valued because of their interpersonal skills and not because of their technical skills or whatever is their domain knowledge. Domain knowledge can be learned, it can be googled, but just because you possess good communication interpersonal skills, you will be valued. My own example again, unfortunate enough, in my team, sometimes I am rated better than my colleague because of a better ability to convince the customers, go into the customer calls with more confidence than others. This was not me, but I was always given a lower rating than my friend initial days of my career, because I did not have simply that confidence to open my mouth and talk. Today, I'm fortunate enough to be more confident, to be more bold and expressive. All the technology skills are same, but just because there is a bit better communication and socializing skills, uh, there is an edge when it comes to appraisal ratings that again reflects in salary hikes, etc., 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 right? And the third point I told you, the second point, sorry, I told you, uh, global virtual office. We need to be very clear in whatever we are communicating. We need to develop that skill. And the third point is no single job for a lifetime. This is the age of portfolio jobs, and communication skills and presentation skills are one of the very important and transferable skill that we have. We can apply in any field. Tomorrow you're opening a business, you need communication and socializing skills. You are in the job still, to grow up the ladder you need these skills. These skills are transferable, it's not domain specific, so learning this is a must. And then one more thing, what to tell, how much to tell, and whom to tell. In the initial days, when a person joins any company, uh, usually the tendency is to explain everything to his manager. Probably there's a technical issue, you need to explain that. You will say, I worked this is the problem, and this is how I solved it. You go deep into it and answer it. As we grow up in the ladder, we need to realize that you can't always explain in depth to everyone. You need to know how to abstract. You need to know how to tell the same thing in different ways to different people. If you happen to meet a CEO and he asks you, what are you doing day to day, you can't say, I worked on this problem where the actual issue was here, and this is how. No, you have to explain it in a little generic way, in a convincing way also. So you need to know what to tell, how much to tell, whom to tell. This is very important, and this is also a skill that is required at work. And yes, I think I pretty much covered why social skills are required in the workplace. uh, I talked about the cost of miscommunication. I gave an example how we ended up uh, in a very a bad position due to a documentation mistake. This is a report from the Economist magazine. This was released 1 year ago, uh, where they have rated, thinking of the past year, what have been the most significant consequences of communication, or cost of, or poor communication at your workplace. So what has been the cost? So the top, if you see it is, I don't know if it is clear, it says added stress, low morale, missed performance goal, all of this, whatever I had explained. And you can see here in the next bar graph, what is the cost? And you can see it is very huge. A simple communication mistake can cost thousands of dollars. 10,000 to $1 million is what is the cost of communication mistake. So it is very, very critical that whether we learn our technical skills or not, this is very important and very crucial for work. All right. Why we have all seen, we all agree that yes, we need to develop, but is there some practical tips how we can develop this? So I'll just take few examples, few scenarios where we can make a difference. Okay, because in the 1 hour, I'll just try to cover what I could, what I have personally experienced. This is not, all this are in open forum available in the internet for all of us to see. But what I have chosen are the ones which has worked for me, worked for some of the friends that I know, for some of the people I know. And these are some tried and tested tricks or certain techniques that you can right away use in order to get an added advantage. So how do you become better at social skills? By becoming a chemistry and biology expert. Yes, so this may look a little surprising. How come why science, why chemistry and biology is coming here, because all whatever I talked about deals with the brain, and the brain is running because of chemicals. So if you can induce the right chemicals in your audience, if you are giving a boring lecture, there will be a different chemical. If you're making it interesting, there's a different chemical. So it's just all about chemicals that you induce on the other person, and you can gain whatever your intention was. So let's see. These chemicals are otherwise called hormones in the biological term, right? So hormones, there are a lot of hormones. Hormones are nothing but they're just chemicals which are secreted. They are real tangible things. Whatever we are saying as social skills, no, you can measure it. You can actually measure it. The first one is dopamine. Some of you who are in this field might know. So dopamine is a hormone. When that gets released, uh, I put a screenshot of Thalapathy movie, or take any movie for example. Movie always goes into a suspense mode, right? At that suspense mode, assume there's a power cut, or you are not allowed to watch at the climax. What happens? You feel very frustrated, right? Initially, I attempted to tell a story where I went into an MIT paper presentation where there were around 700, 800 people, but I was well prepared. But as soon as I went to the stage and then saw the audience, I will not say, I'll just leave it there. Probably I will come to that later. But then such stories, what does it do? It creates curiosity. You will come close and listen. Okay, what is it? What happens is the dopamine starts secreting, and this results in more focus, more motivation, more memory. You can see that smiley there, that face, right? If you can make that happen to your audience, and whatever you tell after that, they'll absorb it. Why? Because they're all ready. If you start your lecture by saying, students, let's see about the digital signal processing. So digital signal processing is a concept where you are already cutting off whatever there is an invisible line is there between you and your audience. It's already cut off. So first grab their attention and then say whatever you want to say, and increasing the dopamine levels of your audience is one trick where you can make them focus and then deliver your message. We'll see how with storytelling coming up next. And the next hormone, this is also very interesting. This is called oxytocin. So you may forget these names, dopamine, oxytocin, that's okay. But what is the concept here is, if you can make the audience feel for you with empathy. We are all human beings. We are all driven by emotions. So if we can somehow trigger their emotions, okay, so that makes them feel more loud, caring, and that bonding comes. So whatever you say next, they will most likely accept it. So if you want to do a sales, you want to try to convince somebody, first increase their oxytocin levels and then do whatever you want to do. The chances of them accepting it is high. So this is the trick of oxytocin. And then third, and the most favorite of mine, is endorphins. Endorphins are the happy or humor hormone. So whenever you are feeling so relaxed, happy, and full of fun, suddenly you meet all your schoolmates and you crack all jokes. So what happens? You feel very happy, right? You forget all your tensions and you suddenly go into a state of relaxed, happy mood. That is where endorphins are there. So if you can give more humor, you can add more humor in whatever you're communicating with others, then again they become so much bonded with you, and that will make them creative, and so whatever is you wanted to achieve, they will be more ready to accept it. So these are all some biology tried and tested that mostly we don't follow, but I have practically experienced presenters, trainers who have done that to us, and we practically realized. And now when thinking back, my biology teacher probably used one of these hormones to induce, and I still remember a lot of the concepts from botany because of the way she presented her classes. And if it can work there, it can work in workplace, it can work in family, it can work with friends, it can work in any context. All right, can we go for a quick poll now? I've been talking for a lot of time, so let us get into a quick poll. I am starting a poll. I think you should be seeing it now. How do you grab your audience attention towards your presentation? You can start answering. I think you will see it as a pop-up or probably under the polls section. Yes, I'm getting the answers. Interesting graphics you can include in the PPT. You can tell a relatable story with suspense. You can add more facts and figures. So which will grab your audience attention? Okay, I think many of you are listening to this presentation because the answers are towards the correct one, which is the second option. Tell a relatable story with suspense. I'm ending the poll. Thank you. To an extent, including interesting graphics in the presentation is also correct. I wouldn't say it is wrong. We will see the next slide where we will talk more about presentations. But before that, I think now you got the answer why you probably remember Panchatantram and Thalapathy. Because while watching those movies, what could have got triggered? Endorphins, right? Probably this should have been a poll question. Friendship, fun, and humor is what is a theme, right? Whenever you think of this movie. And you cannot forget because you were very attentive because the hormones were at the highest levels when you watched this movie. The director did not bore you. The scriptwriter did not bore you. They did justice and you still remember it today. The same goes with Thalapathy, another classic, right? No humor, but still the dialogues, the emotion, it triggered the empathy. So what hormone is that? Oxytocin. So oxytocin levels were high when you watched this movie. You still remember it today. You know what is the theme, which is friendship. How is it possible? Simple tricks, right? Just ensure you trigger the right hormones in your target audience. So now that brings us to the next related topic. How do I tell stories? Yes, I agree now that we need to trigger hormone, those things. Yeah, it is easy to say, but then how do I tell stories? It is difficult. You cannot simply tell an unrelated story, right? For example, if perseverance is what you're talking about, then a story should be related to that. Or you can tell a story at least that is not totally yours. Your stories must be personal and it should be relatable, or it should be something that everyone can relate to. And how you have to do it is these tips. Write down whenever, or note down, or just remember somewhere in your brain, or write it somewhere, some interesting stories from your life experience. Interesting stories that you can share. Index them. What stories will be creating that focus and suspense? Index it. What are humor based? Index it. What will probably trigger that empathy and warmth and care and love towards you? Index it. Now have it with you. So whenever you want to, you are in any situation, you can pick a story which is rightly apt for that situation. You are trying to win somebody, you can probably use empathy. You are trying to sell something, you can use empathy. You're trying to drive home a concept to the students, probably you can use more suspense related stories, so you grab their attention and then tell your stories. So this is how a tip how you can always be ready with a bunch of stories which you can say wherever you go. And trust, the last line is there everywhere. In Google you can see humans are good storytellers by birth. We are just not following it. We were all the information, we started writing text, everything came only very recently in the evolution. If you see, we were only passing on stories. The great epics, everything was passed on as stories from one generation to another. So we are all storytellers. We have to trust our evolution, and we will really succeed there. From that, let us move on to some presentation trends that are there in today's context. It can be in work, or it can be in education, or in any industry. We are all we all like Steve Jobs keynote presentations. Whenever he releases a new iPod or iPhone, what is that one thing standing out in his presentations is simplicity, right? It's called minimalism. Gone are the days when our presentations have to be filled with a lot of text, points, flowcharts. It has to be minimal. Minimalism is the next trend. You can watch any Google I/O events or any technology mobile phone releases or any such things today. All the live events that you can watch by successful companies, they don't bore you. They make it interesting as much as possible. They don't show so much details in their presentation. They make it very simple. Most of Steve Jobs presentation, if you see, only the iPhone picture will be there, or some 2-3 texts only will be there, nothing else will be there. Somewhat I also attempted that kind of strategy in this presentation. I could not succeed much, but as much as possible I'm trying to include in all my presentations, even technical presentations, only the images. And we can talk through, when we are explaining, we can always talk, so no need to have everything in the presentation. One more interesting trend in the presentation field is pechkacha. It's a Japanese term. It is spelled as Pechkucha. Pechakcha. Okay, it has to be pronounced as pechakcha. So what is pechakcha? It's a presentation format where you only need to put 20 images, and each slide with that image, whatever image is there, each slide will only be shown for 20 seconds. It is an auto forwarding slide. Okay, you don't have control. You have to start it off. You have to prepare well in advance. You have to keep on narrating whatever you want to narrate with just showing that one picture in the slide. So the audience don't lose interest. They only see picture. So there's nothing more to see there. So they will see you when you are presenting. So they will more likely get whatever you are trying to say, rather than focusing what is there in the presentation or in the slide. So this is also very emerging popular presentation technology. You can be very fast. You can drive home whatever points you want to say very quickly. And the third is probably all of you are doing this right now. I hope no. So this is about grabbing audience, or understanding that all of us have saturation. 1 hour presentation, probably 20 minutes is the attention span. Any human being, we have to realize and be aware of that fact. You can't expect audience to listen 1 hour to your presentation. It may be important for you, but it is never important for the audience to be attentive to your presentation. So keep this fact in mind. Make it as interesting as possible, and never bore your audience, and saturate their attention span. Okay, so 3 presentation skills we saw. Now 3 social skills. It is 6:50. We probably have 5 or 10 more minutes to go. So So we saw at work context, we saw what kind of skills that we can apply, and in general, for life also, in every kind of situation, most of the watch all these tech talks, watch all kinds of these books, or read books. There is only three fundamental concepts that everyone talks about when it comes to social skills for life. Wherever you go, you have to be good in these three. The first one is, you have to learn to listen to others first. Not listen to just respond, listen to learn first, get from their understanding. They try to get their point of view and only listen first. Don't listen to just give an answer. So everyone repeats this. This is a very successful formula, because when you listen first, you will come up with more better response than you had imagined. And also be open for feedback. If somebody is saying you have to improve all these things, this is not good, don't get offensive, don't take it emotional. We have to be open in work context, especially. um, uh, Sometimes our Indian culture is so that we are a little bit reluctant to give open feedback. But in Western cultures, whenever we are interacting with cross cultural teams, they are straight at the face. If it is for congratulating you, they do it full heartedly. If they want to give you a critical feedback, they do that also, then and there. They don't hesitate at all. That is how people develop new skills and correct themselves. So we have to be receptive for feedback. Now once that is done, as a social animal, we need to make friends, right? So you're going somewhere, don't refrain yourself from not talking to others. uh, all of us are mostly introverts, yes, but try to see some common element in others. There will be something of mutual interest between you two that you can talk. Even if you have 5 minutes time, try to make a connect. uh, so that will probably, you never know, they will turn into your best friends for life. So in every given situation, don't be yourself, just go out, try to talk to them, see what, even if you don't find anything interesting in common, at least listen to them, what is their interest, and maybe you can develop that interest also, we never know. So making friends is very important. As I earlier told, we are all in increasingly dependent societies. We never know who we might need when. So definitely making friends. It's not just about sitting and friends will happen. No, you have to consciously make it happen. And the third one, I'm not going much in depth into that. There's another slide for that. It is argument versus debate. So whenever you mention the word social, it is unavoidable that you will definitely come into a conflict of agreement, where you and your other person's point of view will be different. You will have conflicts. So how you have to resolve that conflict amicably is a very important skill. That's a whole discipline itself. But I'll briefly touch that in the next slide. Probably we have only one or two more slides. After this, I will take questions. Yes, this is a very favorite slide of mine. How to win arguments. Okay, there are six of techniques that everyone suggests here. So as you can see, first respect others. Always think that yes, they may be having something which is worthwhile. So understand what is, keep always that thinking process, that they will be their point of view is also important. Let us respect. Okay, first have that respect, and then the technique is to make others speak. I had mentors who never tell me how I should do something. They will always make me talk most of the time. They will get the problem out of me, they will get the solution also out of my own mouth. So even if it is going to turn into an argument, it is always important to make the other person speak first, so they will speak everything, and then if you talk, you will be more informed, you will know, you will be fully armed with whatever facts they know, so that you can attack all these points, try to convince them. So let others speak first. And there are two more images below each of this. Below respect, there is a person standing on somebody's shoe. I think that's self-explanatory. You put yourself into others' shoe, then probably their point of view may also be correct, right? So that is respect, and that come together. Similarly, when you are making others talk, you try to guide them in your conversation to make them say yes often. If the other person says yes, yes, yes often to your questions, most likely that person will agree to your point of view. The last set of images is showing, is about, you have to guide the other person to your point of view. You have to indirectly guide them and then make them decide. The whole fundamental concept about winning in an argument is you should not decide. I'll give you an example. If you are a shopkeeper, mostly we would have experienced this. The shopkeeper will not come and or you're visiting that shop, he will not directly say buy this. When he says buy this, it means he's deciding for you. And what you will do? Why I should buy? Just because you're saying buy, I will not buy. Instead, what marketing people do, they tell all the good things about the product, but never say buy, because they will leave that decision to you. So we have to leave the decision, ultimate decision, to others. It is if the other person decides himself, then he will feel happy about making the decision. Even if it is on your favor, it has to come from his mouth rather than coming from you. So this is something about how to win arguments. So there are, this social skills itself is a huge there are piles of information available. The whole intention of this webinar is to make yourself aware, to create that awareness in all of you, that all these are very important, equally important to the whatever domain you are there. You might be a technical person, you might be in whichever, you are a student, whoever you are. It is very important for us to consciously start learning and practicing all these social skills. It is useful till the end. And some of the things that I have given here, you can obviously Google for every kind of skill you want to develop. You can Google, you can see a lot of YouTube videos, TED Talks, and these are all about gaining the knowledge. But more important is if you practice. So any given opportunity, take it. Kumaran sir approached me to give this presentation, I took it. So by this presentation, you might have learned little bit, but I have learned a lot on how to handle a webinar and a lot of things myself. I would have learned by this. So this, I'll become a one notch little bit better than I was yesterday with this 1 hour, right? And then in my introduction, Kumaran sir mentioned that I'm a Toastmaster. So you might be wondering, what is this Toastmaster, right? This is an excellent platform. Toastmasters International works as clubs. There are clubs all over the world. This is a 100-year-old non-profit organization. It's purely educational organization where clubs are there, community clubs or corporate clubs. In every office there is a Toastmaster club. In every locality there is a club. Many colleges are having Toastmasters club. In many colleges in Chennai are having these clubs. So these clubs are nothing but where like-minded or where people come together weekly. Once they meet, there is a prescribed format where they follow some manuals and they give speeches, they take up roles, they take up some leadership responsibilities and learn. It's just a learning platform. so that whatever skills, whatever mistakes you do in the Toastmasters platform, you can apply it in real life. So it's a very good practical approach to gain all the social skills. I highly recommend you go to the website, you can know where is your nearest club, you can join. Just weekly you need to spend 1 hour. It's nothing much. So and most important of all, we are all from various multilingual backgrounds. English is not our mother tongue. Don't ever feel uh, down or demotivated that your English is not good. English is not our mother tongue. It's absolutely okay not to feel for that. Spanish people, Italian people, French people don't talk English at all. They are very much in the European continent. England is just their neighbor. Nobody knows English there. They don't even care to learn it. Unfortunately or fortunately, we have been ruled by them. So all our systems are in English. So we have to learn, but it's okay if we make mistakes. It's a business language. We have to learn, but we don't have that attitude that I cannot talk English, and hence that is limiting my opportunities. No, be open to learn, and it's just another language. So with this, I would like to end my presentation. I have also given a lot of references, some references from where today's webinar concepts I took and I have implemented. All this is what we do day to day in our offices. I'm a Toastmaster, and we have experienced all this. Everything works. And if you have further questions, you can also mail me. I've given the link there. And Kumaran sir will also be sharing the presentation with you. There's nothing in the presentation. Probably these links will be useful to you, is my humble opinion. So I think if you have all gained a little bit today, I would be very happy for that. And I can take up any questions that you have, because it's already 7:02. So thank you for giving this opportunity. And I can get any questions that you have. Please put it in the Q&A section, or you can directly ask.
Thank you, Ashwin. We'll go ahead and take some time for questions now. I don't think this question in the chat box. So one question, so someone asked about the Toastmaster, how to join in Toastmaster. That's a question asked.
Okay. So Toastmasters is as I said, very good platform. You go to toastmasters.org, toastmasters.org. There you can see a link called Find a Club. So there you can actually search for a club near you. For example, if you are living, say, Nanagar or Ambattur, there is a club called Ambattur Achievers Toastmasters Club. So if you're in Ananagar, there is a club. So, and if you are part of a company, an organization, there are clubs there. And even if you don't have a club, say in your many colleges have. For example, I don't know the question is from whom. Many colleges, KCG, Hindustan, VIT, Great Lakes, a lot of colleges in Chennai have clubs. Loyola, they all have Toastmasters clubs. It's a very good platform for us to develop these skills practically. We are encouraged to fail there. We are encouraged to give speeches. We receive feedback in a very comfortable environment. Maybe they all encourage us to give the speeches. We never need to feel shy, because everyone is in similar place there. However good you are, however bad you are, there's always learning from the Toastmasters experience. So I suggest you all to search in the Google, or in the Toastmasters website, you will find a club near you. You can also ask me in the email. I can help you further on that also. Thank you.
So what's the formality to start a chapter in the college?
Sure. See, Toastmasters works you can derive the maximum benefit of Toastmasters if there are members. So it's just the members that make the club useful, right? So if we just have 20 members who are motivated and interested, a club can be started. A club needs 20 members to function minimum. And usually if somebody is interested, for example, if Jaya Engineering College is interested, there are other clubs. It's a full community. We all help each other. It's not every clubs are organized into areas into divisions into districts. So we all help each other. We come and do demonstration meetings to see what will be the learning value. So such demo meetings, initially no club will just get started. There will be demonstration meetings, demo meetings happening for few months, few weeks. Then if people are interested, they sign up. They say, yes, I'm ready to join. And then once a minimum count is achieved, then they formally charter the club. There is a fee associated with that to the Toastmasters International because a lot of materials, manuals, everything is given. So there's a cost associated. And because a cost is there to also ensure there is seriousness of this. So and then the club gets chartered. So that's how usually clubs get launched.
That's so Ashwin, is there anything else you wanted to cover before you wrap up?
No, that's all, sir.
Okay. Now it's time to conclude our event. Thank you very much, Ashwin, for spending your valuable time with us in your busy schedule. So, as Ashwin said, Ashwin is the proud alumni of Jaya Engineering College. He passed out in the year 2006 from Computer Science and Engineering Department. I hope everyone enjoyed the session. On behalf of Jaya Group of Institutions and all participants, once again, thank you, Ashwin. At this moment, I place my sincere thanks to our management, the chairman, vice chairman, our joint secretary, ma'am, and the principal, and all my colleagues who rendered their support for conducting this webinar series. The next schedule is on tomorrow, 27/6/2020 at 6 p.m. The topic is understanding the impact of digital signage and implementation ways by Mr. Babu Aravind. He is connecting from Canada. Thank you all for your active participation. Thank you again for joining us today. And we will see you next webinar on tomorrow at 6 p.m. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, Ashwin. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.